Greetings and salutations, fellow denizens of the negative zone. It is I, Eric J. Chucci, joined as always by the boy.
Hey.
You got a little second there. What was that for?
I was thinking about if I wanted to continue your negative zone bit, and I decided I didn't.
Very well. This is the Two Nerds Podcast. Today, we're answering questions directly from Reddit that were asked directly to us exclusively because we're very popular and handsome.
I have nothing to add. This is all true.
I have books. You could buy them in the description. I have a Patreon. You could buy it in the description. You could be like Rob, who we shout out on the podcast because he's cool.
He is. He's a cool dude, that Rob.
Cool dude. He likes Dungeons and Dragons and 9 Inch Nails. Like and subscribe and comment, because the like and the comment actually do more to boost our signal
Than just the like.
Yes. So, in truth, as the thumbnail and likely title describes, it's Ask Reddit time again.
Because that is excellent content for when we want to take a break from the content we're currently producing.
I like to vary it up. I don't like to,
do 4 months of the same damn thing.
Yeah, that's just going to get tedious no matter who you are. So, we have some other ideas, but, I haven't been sleeping well lately.
Me neither. Or too well, in the case currently.
I got 6 hours of sleep for the second night in a row last night, straight. I mean, I woke up to pee because I'm over the age of 30, but, and I don't consume alcohol. If I did consume alcohol, then that's just a thing. But it felt weird when I finally woke up and surreal. What is life?
We have all this sleep more. But, so we're doing Ask Reddit.
Yeah, Ask Reddit.
Let's see what Reddit has for us in terms of content we can steal. I mean, well.
I'm having a hard time reading. Good old dyslexia. The question, which I don't know that we're going to answer because I don't know that we have answers. What's generally considered sexy but a turnoff for you? I read as, what's considered a sexy butt?
Would you like examples?
Minimal poop and zits. No poop, preferably. That's about, that's the barrier for entry. It's just stars above that.
Fair enough.
I'm answering the new question.
Clearly. There's a question about what I like. What is something free from the internet which everyone should take advantage of?
I don't fucking know. You think I'm smart?
For me,
the Two Nerds Podcast.
There you go. I actually have a good answer, which is YouTube tutorials. There is just an army of people, just millions strong throughout the whole internet, who have these very detailed, very thorough, free tutorials on how to do basically whatever the fuck you want to learn how to do. Everything from absolute beginner, this is how you click buttons on your computer, all the way up to very, in-depth processes for very niche hobbies. If you really want to learn how to do a thing and you don't want to pay money for that, you can probably cobble it together from YouTube.
That's very accurate. A lot of the car maintenance I've done in the last few years has been because of YouTube tutorials.
I've learned how to do everything from photo editing to repairing washing machines from YouTube.
Yeah. Fuck you, Sally Struthers.
Okay. Weird flex.
She always had those commercials in the 90s.
About starving children?
No.
I don't know what else she's famous for.
She would do those, you can take this class, TV repairman, VCR technician.
Okay, I didn't know that was her.
I hope it was. I'm feeling a little loopy all of a sudden. It's I don't know how to act after I've had, a full night's sleep. My body's like, you should probably nap now for, 4 hours? It's hitting me, that's all. Okay, there's a lot of horrific stuff. We're slowly scrolling past.
Well, scroll up. There's another one I enjoy.
All right.
You are now a professor at Supervillain University. What course do you teach?
I'm not really a supervillain anymore. How did I get hired?
Well, I mean, you could be teaching, I don't know, ethics or like.
Why would they teach that at Supervillain
So
University?
you know how to violate them.
I feel like I've gotten into some financial loophole because my friend's a supervillain.
Then that's what you teach, is befriending supervillains and how to exploit this and how to exploit the system. Me, I would teach like the unwritten rules, how to properly act like a supervillain. It's not just about doing crime. It's about doing crime with flair. Anyone can be a villain. Being a supervillain takes a certain level of panache.
I think if I ascended to supervillainy, it would be like Thanos style. Like, everything I'm doing is correct. I don't understand why you're mad. So, I don't know that I'm qualified to teach. They would be like, well, you can teach the distancing yourself from the emotional and ethical ramifications of your actions. And I'd be like, it's not... I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think you could just be a guest speaker in that course.
Sure, yeah. I could be like an advisor or something. But you probably shouldn't let me know that's why I'm there. Just wind him up and let him talk for a few hours. Ask Reddit, you are betraying us today.
Normally we sort differently. Normally we sort by like top post of the last month. You're just in hot. I feel like that's causing a difference.
Top this month. I mean, that's what hot is.
No. Here's a good one. Overthinkers of Reddit. What unlikely scenario actually came true that you were completely prepared for because you were an overthinker? Do you have a decent answer for that one? Is there you are someone who prepares for things? Is there something you were entirely prepared for because you have already thought of this?
I mean, like emotionally prepared for, you know. I'm one of those people who, when like crises come up, I'm pretty cool in the moment, and then I'll freak out later.
For me, it's generally having a gadget that I bought because this might be useful, and then it was, and I was very happy.
I don't know what the fuck is up with Reddit lately, but like we have resorted, and these are different questions. They're just also bad.
Well, it's not that they're bad questions. It's that one or both of us...
the content of this podcast.
One or both of us doesn't have a good answer for it.
I don't have a lot. What's the dumbest rule your school ever enforced? I don't know. They called the cops on my mom because my shirt was too long.
That's a good answer.
I suppose. But, like, what answer do you have for that?
Well, I mean, that's a story I don't tell on the podcast.
Exactly. Like, a lot of these are, like, really, like, what's the most fucked up thing someone has told you about themselves? And I'm like, no.
That they were a 9/11 truther. The full question is, what's the most fucked up thing someone told you about themselves after barely getting to know them? This dude I'd known for maybe an hour, like, really was, like, out and proud about being 9/11 was an inside job guy. That's probably the high bar for me.
I mean, I appreciate that. It lets you know what you're in for.
Yep.
Yeah. You can make your own decisions after that. Either as a fellow 9/11 truther, oh good, someone we can truth with.
Yeah. Okay.
Or, well, this has been fun.
I got a good one for this because it's an actual answer that is a part of my real life. People who choose to be kind every day despite not receiving the same kindness back. What motivates you? I don't always succeed, but I choose to try. Because I didn't used to, and I like the person that I am better now. And partially because a long time ago I saw a meme that said, you aren't being the person Fred Rogers knew you could be. And that shit really hit with me, like in a real emotional way, and they're right. So I tried to be better.
I mean, that's the exact source of my motivation, is I've been... That's an overly aggressive way to say that. I, like many people, have suffered targeted unkindness. And I don't want other people to get that from me. I've been an asshole before. I don't want to be an asshole. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah,
it doesn't make me feel better.
Yeah, I like the person I am now better than the one I was before I went through the effort of learning how to have empathy for other people.
All right, here's a dumb joke. You can go back 100,000 years to a cave that will be discovered by archaeologists. What do you write on the wall to mess with them?
Loss.
Croatoan.
Mine was good. Yours was better.
They'll never figure it out. I think I actually responded to this one.
All right.
People who take an hour showering, what do you do? enjoy my shower.
Yeah, warm water.
Yeah. It's my special thinky chamber.
Sometimes I just sit in the shower and like I just sit down and like in literally a meditative pose and just enjoy the warm water and think about stuff. Mm-hmm. Do you not have stuff to think about? Do you not want to just chill when it's very cold in winter? And like even if the heater's on, your extremities are still a little cold. They're always a little cold. Being in the shower is a lovely reprieve from that. All is warm. All is fine. Think about stuff. It's cool. I pay the water bill. I pay this. I do what I want. I'm an adult. You know what? This is one that there's not a good answer for us, but I think other people near us might have a good answer. What does your crazy neighbor do to be labeled the crazy neighbor?
We always talking about possum pussy.
God. No, you don't get to just drop that like a nuclear device and then leave the thread.
I edit the podcast. I don't know what you're talking about.
Explain to the people what happened.
I don't fucking remember things. I will give you the context I have. You can fill in the details, either you, the boy, or audience through your assumptions. Ultimo Dragon, I know you are wise and learned in the ways of filling in your own details. You've been listening to this podcast for how long now? So like possums are marsupials.
So they got pouches.
Yeah. And it's like, you call it a pouch, and when you're a kid and you're watching kangaroos on cartoons, it's just like a little pocket on their belly. That's not what that is. It's just like vaginish. Yonic.
That's better. The first one's objectively a better term, but the second one is accurate.
It's a little.
It is a flap of skin with like.
It's like a hole, but
yeah, like with like, it is an orifice.
Yes, like your mouth,
but mostly enclosed. It is a pouch.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly what context we were talking about. I think it was discussing how if you see possum roadkill and you're concerned there might be babies inside, here's the things you would need to do to check for that. Because I care deeply about possums, I don't know if you've noticed.
There was a meme going around the internet at the time. Was like a clickbait title. If you see a possum on the side of the road, do this. And it was a picture of someone like opening up the pouch to check for babies. Underneath the text was, I'm supposed to spread open a possum pussy with my bare hands? And we happened to be discussing that meme and the actual usefulness of that piece of advice as we were coming back from the car. And I turned, I think we both noticed this, and we just happened to notice our neighbor just fucking having to take in this fact that's happening near them.
Without getting into any details about the topic, because that's not what this podcast is, we also scared off some sort of religious pamphleteer the other day, talking loudly about circumcision.
We were just having an intellectual discussion.
A conversation.
And we heard a rustling noise outside, and we were like, is someone at the door? And they had briefly, they didn't even manage to, they had stuffed their little pamphlet in our door handle and then ran away. Because they were gone. They were not visible.
And I don't blame them.
Here's a good one.
Oh, yeah, in over Valpurgis when we had the bonfire and the woman was looking at us because I was playing traditional German and Proto-Germanic, songs of frivolity.
And, I'm going to be honest with you, we were having a bonfire and playing some very Wicker Man-y music. There isn't really a better way to phrase that. And I look, and there's this fucking boomer neighbor of ours who just spends 10 minutes just staring at the window, out the window at us.
Oh, yeah, we're the weird neighbors.
We're the crazy neighbors, and what we do is generally act like you hear us in real life, where other people are. What are some solved mysteries? It's a good time to loop that Croatoan back in. Is why what I'm baiting for.
I'm sorry, I just kind of blanked and I was like, basically every fact. So I actually go on Ask Reddit now as like as a thing. And like I'll sort by new and then answer those because there's not a lot of answers on them because you answer this shit on like the ones that show up on the front page. No one's going to read that shit.
Yeah,
you're not helping anything.
It gets drowned out.
Yeah.
Unless you are one of the 5 people who the internet anoints as the one who gets upvotes.
Well, and by the time it's there, you're not. And that's fine. I'm not in it for the updates or anything. But like, I'm trying to answer the question.
I cannot imagine giving that much of a shit about orange arrows.
I want to be involved. I want to participate in something in which I am a participant and not like, you know, say you go to a Bon Jovi concert and Bon Jovi's on the stage very loudly playing Bon Jovi music and you're at the nosebleeds quietly singing to yourself. Like, no one's here to listen to you. I mean, by all means sing. That's not my point here. It's just that, you know, Bon Jovi is singing right now.
You'd rather go to the you'd rather go to like the small little club and be the person who like claps along with the very small band.
Yeah, or even maybe I've got an act and I go on stage for like a song and no one really knows it and they mostly clap out of like, okay, thank you for being here.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah. And a lot of the questions are sort of self-evident, like, or Googleable.
Yeah, so much of the stuff that never hits the front page from Ask Reddit is literally, almost all of them could be responded to with a "let me Google that for you" link.
What are some good TV shows? Oh, fuck. Do you not have ads in your world?
I mean, like, I largely don't.
I largely don't either, but, like, do you not speak to other beings? Do you not...
I try not to.
Except, you name me 2 good TV shows right now.
That are currently on?
That are currently accessible.
Okay, WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Okay, you did just fine.
Yay! I passed the test.
What are some solved mysteries?
Look, I was just baiting for you to yell about.
No, I appreciate that, but my brain was like trying to answer the question.
Oh, this is going to be a bad one, folks. All right, let's do some more scrolling.
There's a portion of our audience that is here for specifically this, and I might edit this one just to cut down on a lot of the stammering and ums, but you're welcome.
Honestly, this is not really the premise of this podcast, but there's one that I really want to like know the answers to. And I don't know, we're kind of out of neither of us are having a good time answering these. You want to call an audible and like see what the answers are to a couple of these and just sort of like react channel to them?
I don't think you're allowed to do that. I think that's a completely original concept owned by those H3H3 boys.
Oh, you want to do it anyway?
Okay.
I like the ex-deaf people of Reddit. What's the most underwhelming sound respective to your expectations? I want to know this one. I want to know the answer.
I don't feel like we're going to get good answers because there's no serious tag. Some dude in an old thread surprised clouds colliding didn't make noise.
I mean, if you went through your whole life expecting that to be like a big thunderous, like the noise of thunder sort of thing, and it's just that happens, I would expect that to be disappointing.
And also there's a lot of people who don't know what the word underwhelming means. Here's an interesting one. It's a century of experience and perspective that makes barons uniquely qualified to understand the next 100 years.
He's reading an ad as a joke because he's having a rough time with this premise right now.
100 years, barons. See, I don't even know what barons is. I guess that's why they need to be advertised.
You don't give them free ad time on the podcast.
Good luck finding them.
Fair enough.
I guess if you typed that exact ad copy in, you might locate them. But first of all, how you spell barons? That's a question. And ain't you gonna get a million other things? Mankirk's wife.
Mankirk's wife. This is a good one because we were just talking about this before the podcast. What's something to say to scammers instead of hanging up?
I think the next time I'm going to pretend like I'm a pizza place.
That's good. That's good. Being another business is good. Yeah. I sometimes I get to enjoy the when it's not an auto call, when it's not a robot. If someone actually calls me about my car's extended warranty, I get to hit them with the "I don't own a car." That usually causes either a hang up or like bafflement for a moment before I hang up.
You live in that silence though, where they're like,
how to...
We had a scammer come to the door the other day, and I'm sure he didn't know he was a scammer.
Yeah, most door-to-door scammers, they're just exploiting people. They don't know what they're doing.
But, like, I told him I wasn't the primary bill payer, and you could see on his face the visible confusion. I like, here's another self-evident one. What's the most thing about people asking about your genitals?
What's the most thing?
Most annoying thing.
He edited out the word annoying.
I edited out the word annoying. It's people asking about your genitals. You've done this.
That's the annoying thing. Though to be fair, I can't say aside from like a bro joke, I've never had someone ask about my genitals in my whole life.
Like a doctor, maybe.
Like there are two situations where that has happened. We've already pre-established that they're interested in them, and this is like shop talk. Or it's a bro joke, like, hey, how's your dick, bro? Those are the only times that comes up. And that doesn't annoy me that much, because either it's something that I have pre-established is fine, or, I don't know, those jokes are funny. Like Sonic the Hedgehog pointing, nice dick, bro. That makes me laugh. Panel below it, Sonic giving himself a thumbs up. Too bad it's not as big as mine. That's funny. That's funny shit.
You exist in a different world from me in some axes.
I do.
How's your dick, bro? Well, upset now. It's been asked about.
People old enough to remember life pre-internet, what are some less obvious things you miss about the time?
You just opening this up for me.
Go.
Everything was yellow.
Go. No.
And I thought I was crazy. I thought I was crazy for so long because, like, I'd sit around and be like, man, do y'all remember when everything used to be yellow? And everyone was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I didn't know how to explain it. Well, I was doing research on lights because I wanted to accurately create lights with a little graphic I was designing. And I was reminded that a lot of the lights in the United States were replaced with newer, more energy efficient bulbs whose light is blue.
Is cooler. Like in terms of like white light, there's a certain amount of temperature that light can have.
Either the warm color spectrum or the cool color spectrum.
And so cool color spectrum, even if it's white, your eyes aren't machines, so they read that as a little blue.
Well, and often they are blue tinted to help light stuff. Yeah, I'm not a lightologist. It assists with energy efficiency.
You know what? Fuck it. That's better than what I was going to say.
What about you, my friend? What do you enjoy pre-internet that most people don't?
I'm not quite old enough to remember much pre-internet.
All right. Well, the podcast's over because I've died of old age.
I like when I was a kid, there was a time before we had internet, but that wasn't because the internet wasn't around. It's because I grew up as a stereotype. So we didn't have the internet for a bit. But then we got it when I was fairly young. So it's mostly just like vague memories of childhood. I think the best I can do is people who existed before the internet was like a common thing. Like everybody had the internet. And again, this is just where I am from. It was the sense of community in the proto-internet in Web 1.0 before, and I mean this in the least mean possible way, but there's not a better way to say this. Before all the normies showed up, I miss that sense of community.
Largely before the advent of social media as we know it today.
Yeah, Web 1.0. Before...
that's the big difference. I mean, because, a bunch of us who were on the internet were normie-ish. The only way you weren't on the internet and at least, like, mostly a normal person or half or whatever, like, if you were on the internet that wasn't that, was if you were on the internet in the fucking 70s.
Yeah, those guys were like...
Because I don't know about you, but at the age of 9 or whatever, when I started looking for old Final Fantasy VI sprites, I wasn't a programmer.
Yeah. But like I miss that sense of community from the early internet.
Yeah.
It's about as good as I can
I feel like
when I think someone mentioned it, I saw it on social media, hilariously. Back when people ran websites, not companies.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of the fact that, ironically, as much as a lot of the issues with tribalism are very annoying and cause friction between people for no real reason, when we were able to be entribed more so.
When we could silo off better,
Yeah.
it was...
You got to just hang out with people you liked and weren't brigaded randomly by weirdos.
And, like, look, I'm not one of those people who shakes fist at cloud and says internet was a mistake. But I miss that sense of community. I miss having a sense of the people who I am on this website with all share, like, at least some basic firmament of an outlook with me.
I think another problem with that actually is because of our age bracket. Most people aren't on the internet. They're like looking at their sprogs.
Yeah, we are in the exact age bracket where people are busy raising children who are old enough to like run around and stick their fingers in shit they oughtn't. So that's pretty much your whole fucking day. I'm very glad I don't have kids, because that would suck. But let's see here.
Oh, here's one that's pertinent to me. What's your favorite thing to have in your pockets? I would have to say Werther's Originals and those strawberry candies.
Like the ones in little strawberry wrappers that don't make shit all like strawberries. Yeah.
Because I'm ancient. So, like, man, you know, the age difference between us. Y'all have listened to this podcast for a long time. Or you haven't, in which case...
Wow, what a terrible first one. My apologies.
How are you still here? I guess just seeing how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Yeah.
We're not like that different in age until we are.
Yeah, until I hit you with something that turns you into a skeleton and wrap it in like a time-lapse photo.
Yeah, like a Nazi looking at the Holy Grail or whatever. The Ark of the Covenant, yeah.
What is something you actually remember being new technology, but is now obsolete?
Fuck off. Werther's Originals.
I'm going to answer. Blackberries. I remember when those started to be a thing, and now those aren't a fucking thing. Those are not a thing. PDAs.
I really wanted to make a joke about the fruit. I just couldn't put it together in time. They are still a thing, but like in such niche cultures. Like Blackberries, PDAs, all of that, they're a thing. They're just not like publicly a thing.
That's what, that's fair. DVDs. I remember when DVDs were like the thing. Like, oh shit, it's CD but better. Oh, you can put movies on it. Oh, that's so much better than tapes. DVDs are obsolete. It's digital now. Like, they still sell them, but that's not because... Oh, hold on.
I remember the VHS. Like, okay, this one. Who's a fictional character you're glad isn't real and why? Basically every supervillain.
Yeah, most of them.
I don't want to deal with that.
You know what? I'll just peg Red Skull.
I don't want to fuck with that.
Is, bad. Not good. Lex Luthor, although he kind of is.
I still don't want to fuck with, because sometimes he gets weird and then he's downtown in a suit of power armor punching shit.
For those not possessed of the ability to see me, so everyone but this asshole.
You made the Jeff Bezos face. It's a short version. Moving swiftly along. I think this is interesting that I've never really given a fuck. What did you always imagine the health potion in a video game would taste like?
Alright, but having never given a fuck, now you are, a health potion in a video game, or a health potion in D&D. What would it taste like? What do you think it would taste like? Even if you didn't previously have a hypothesis, what would it be?
I would imagine they're like bespoke.
Like based on who made them?
Yeah, and not even like in a everybody's is unique and different and contains a special signature of their magic. No, just like, you got to put magic in there, but otherwise it's just a fucking liquid. I can give you water-ass health potions, but I don't think you want that. We put a little strawberry Sprite in there and everything's okay. It's just Sprite in which I've melted my strawberry candies.
For me, I've always imagined health potions to be like an alchemical thing, even in games where it's not really gotten into what they are. So like I always imagine them to have sort of a medicinal flavor.
Sure.
Or genuinely fucking red Gatorade. like fruit punch Gatorade. One of the two.
What's the thing a lot of movies do that you absolutely hate? Shaky cam fight footage. It's not better.
There's a certain amount of it that you can do without bothering me.
Sure, I mean, you can, like, shake the camera to create impact or create sort of a frenetic thing, in a way, but, like...
I should be able to tell what the fuck is going on, and I'm not someone with a low bar. I have never had a single problem determining what is happening in a Transformers movie. So it's not like my bar is high. But some of those fucking Bourne movies are incomprehensible. It's just brown clothes and white dudes just sort of existing in a tumble dryer, and then the fight's over. And I can parse out Transformers movies. That is where the line is for me.
I just, in general, like, is a fight choreographer really that expensive for your,
Well, the thing
major
is,
motion picture?
like, they've released some of the behind-the-scenes footage of those over the years. All those fights are incredibly well choreographed.
And that's what I usually assume is the case, and they've just decided for aesthetic quality or to get a lower rating. Which, that's bullshit anyway, because it's just a random board of, like, picked fucks. It's roulette. It's gambling.
Yep. Like, another good example is the Winter Soldier versus Captain America fight in Captain America the Winter Soldier. That's not that shaky and cut up. It's fine. But, like... They did the whole, like, the really impressive hand-to-hand CQC sequence between Bucky and Cap. They did that whole thing in, like, one take. It looks fucking amazing. I am mildly annoyed that they didn't show that as, like, show the effort the actors went to there.
Wow. Is that the same one, or is it just a farm? I think it's the same one. What is generally considered sexy, but a turnoff for you. I thought, because a lot of the other questions you get on Ask Reddit that are new are old reposts, people just farming karma.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if they made it twice in 1 month.
Good for them. Good for you, karma farmers.
I suppose. The actual question I was going to answer is, what's a hobby that's dying in popularity? I find a lot fewer people these days are doing what I did as a kid, which was woodworking and churning butter. It's gone out of fashion.
He's just married to this bit at this point. He's not letting it go, folks.
I have to live with it. I can't let it go. Jesus Christ, I'm not sensitive about my age. It's just when there's that, like, experience gap with you. With, like, a compadre. Oh, right, I forgot. You're only 12 years old and I'm Gandalf.
Go figure, there's a really good question here. Like, I'm looking right at it. It's good. It's got a lot of potential, but fucking no. That's better than anything we're gonna say. Everything's better when nerds talk about it. Fuck it.